They say with great power comes great responsibility. I wonder who said that. That saying must be lost in time. But I say with great size comes great responsibility. And we'll be reviewing that right here in its natural element. What's going on, guys? Roy Robles here from Zigwheels.Ph, and today we've got something really special for you guys. We'll be reviewing the 2024 Ford Ranger Raptor. Now, all kidding aside, you must be wondering why I said the Ford Ranger Raptor is in its natural element here in the city. 95 or even 97% of the time, you would be spending your time with the Ford Ranger Raptor right here. For starters, the exterior is available in this limited edition code orange color scheme. For you guys who have their monitors not calibrated, it might look red, but trust me, this thing looks as orange Mountain Dew. This is amazing. Right up front, there's nothing subtle about the Ford Ranger's front end, and this just turns it up to 11.5 because of this huge FORD badging right up front, which is exclusive to the Ford Ranger Raptor. Now, during startup, once you start your Ford Ranger Raptor, it actually has a nice ceremony going on, trying to flex and test out the variable and adjustable headlamps. Now, one thing about the width of the Ford Ranger Raptor, though, is that it's actually as wide or almost as wide as the Ford F-150 Lariat. So you got to keep that in mind. So there's so much to say about the front end right here. For example, underneath, you'd see a bash plate. It's actually thicker than the usual plate that you'd see in the Ford Ranger, the normal one. And you can definitely use this off-road. It protects the engine whenever you want to take this off-roading. The front end of the Ford Ranger Raptor is definitely imposing. It's just badass with a capital B. And right here, the side profile of the Ford Ranger Raptor is, in my opinion, the most important feature and what makes it distinctive. It's those tires. These are 17-inch all-terrain tires here. These are BF Goodrich KO2s. If you ask any off-roader, they tell you that this would probably be the best OEM off-roading tires that anyone's ever released, and it's amazing. This one, the Ford Ranger, actually has one of the highest ground clearance of any OEM car out there, considering the fact that it has this huge step board right here, and even those mud guards, it still has a huge ground clearance. The Ford Ranger Raptor actually has 285 millimeters of ground clearance. Can't have a Ranger Raptor without the Raptor badging. It's very minimal, but still at the same time maximalist when it comes to brutal design language. Right here at the back of the Ford Ranger Raptor, this is a truck through and through. You got these LED tail lamps that are blacked out and smoked. I really like it. You got this huge Raptor badge here. This is no sticker. It really is a legit Raptor badge. And of course, the Ranger badging right here at the bottom as well, embossed into the rear metal. You also have these dual tow hooks right here at the back if you need to help a friend out, same with the front. And the rear hatch is actually, the tailgate is actually assisted. So if you need to put the tailgate down, you can put it down easily. It's not that heavy because it has some magic underneath there in order to help you out. So if you need to do your curls, you need to look elsewhere. Now, speaking of the bed liner here, you've got your provisions. You know, if you're working out, if you're using your Ford Ranger Raptor on the job site, you can definitely put your clamps in there. There's so many provisions here for all of those things. Really is amazing. So before we dive into the interior, let's take a look at that engine. And I would expect that for a truck this big and this heavy, the hood would have these struts in it since the rear tailgate has, but this one, definitely not. So yes, if you want to do, if you missed out on your workout, you can definitely do it right here. I can imagine this to be a problem for people who are, well, not the same height as I am. I'm 5'11.5", by the way. So yeah, even with my size and my reach, I still find it quite difficult. And there you go. So you see this 2-liter bi-turbo engine right here. It makes 210 horsepower and 500 Newton meters of torque, which is definitely a lot, especially coming from a small engine like that. So kudos to Ford engineers for squeezing every bit of power from that engine. And this heavy hood though, got some problems with that. Let's go inside. Right, so we're inside the Ford Ranger Raptor, and yes, they added a lot of stuff in here to make it a lot more exciting. For example, you got your steering wheel here. Yeah, it's leather wrapped, it's nice, but it's got these orange stitching around it, as well as this line marker on top to signify and let you know which direction the Ford Ranger is heading out to. You got these nice metallic paddle shifters in the back, nice and chunky. The steering wheel is adjustable for both reach and brake, which I do appreciate, because driving a truck like this, you need to obtain your optimum driving position, not just for comfort, because of how huge this is. You're quite high up, so even though you're driving through EDSA, driving through highways, you can actually see the bus driver right next to you, and that is quite an unnerving feeling, I gotta say. But thanks to these seats, you can definitely get the right viewing angle. You can see the front hood there. You can estimate your proper position, no problems. You got this huge 12-inch touchscreen infotainment system with both Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and they work wirelessly, mind you, which is something I really appreciate. You have a 12.4-inch digital gauge cluster, and it's fully digital, and you can definitely see all your driving statistics right there, easy. And one interesting thing though is that right here in the center console you have this dial. This dial here lets you select between different drive modes. You got 2H, 4H, 4L, and 4A. 4A is something new. It actually nerfs the acceleration just a little bit to make sure that you achieve the right engine speed for particularly slippery situations. So that's something helpful. That dial also allows you to select through different drive modes. You got 7 drive modes. You got normal, you got sport, you got slippery, mud and ruts, sand, Baja mode, and rock crawl. So 7 drive modes all in all in one amazing Ford Ranger Raptor. Right next to the dial, you've got additional buttons right here. You got park assist. That's right. This huge vehicle has parking assistance. So it helps you with automatically parking your vehicle. You have this mode where it actually helps you with getting out of a parallel park, getting into perpendicular parking, and getting into parallel parking as well, which is quite a feat, especially for a car this huge. So in some more additional features here, you got this nice grab handle on the side. You have that on the rear as well. They're nice and chunky. You definitely need that because of the really high ground clearance. Again, 272 millimeters of ground clearance is nothing to shake off because it really is kind of high. But if you notice, you only have an electronic parking button and no button for the automatic brake hold. In order to access the automatic brake hold, you got to go into the menu system here, and then you go to driver assistance, and then you got auto hold. There you go. Now, one thing that Ford did in order to cater to truckers are these aux switches right here. You got 6 different aux switches. If you want to install some accessories like additional lighting, additional ports right there in the back, it's quite nice to be in here because you have these nice leather seats. The leather seats have the same Raptor badge. It's made of this nice high quality leather, which is kind of plush, but most importantly easy to clean. They are power operated. It's for the passenger and the driver. The driver has lumbar support. Oh, there we go. Yes, lumbar support. That's perfect. I like how everything seems to be modern, looks convenient and soft, but in actuality is rugged, tough, just like Ford intends their trucks to be. All right, let's take a look at the back and see what's what and what's in there, because I think there's a nice surprise for us waiting. All right, so right here in the back of the Ford Ranger Raptor, typically for mid-sized trucks, there really isn't much space to talk about, because pickup trucks, in my opinion, are more like activity vehicles for business type. And in this case, yes, definitely an activity vehicle. I can sit in the back, but I would much prefer to sit in front. That's where all the niceties are. Now, speaking of niceties, you do have the air con vents right here in the back, but no way to control it. But you do have a nice 230 volt, 400 watt power socket in the back, as well as a USB-C and USB-A adapter. Now, quick tip, if you want to put in the center armrest right here, just pulling it like this, like so, will not help you. You have to actually lift this tab up. There you go. And fold it all the way down. Yes. giving you access to 2 cup holders right here. All right, so not much to talk about here in the back, but what is the highlight of the Ford Ranger Raptor though is the drive. So let's go out and see how this drives in the urban jungle, where it will see 95 or 97% of action throughout its life. Let's go. All right, so right now we are behind the wheel of the Ford Ranger Raptor. And yes, this is the top dog Ford Ranger. It's got all the trimmings, all the features that you're looking for in an adventure lifestyle truck. For starters, under the hood, you've got that 2-liter bi-turbo diesel engine that makes 210 horsepower and 500 newton meters of torque. That's mated to a 10-speed automatic and pushes the power to all wheels. And yeah, that's definitely something that you would want, especially in a truck this size and this heavy. Now, suspension wise, you've got double wishbone suspension up front with Fox shocks, and the same Fox shocks as well on the rear. This is the only truck that I've driven so far in a full review where I could barely feel any of the ruts on the road because it just gobbles them up like there's no tomorrow. Acceleration in the Ford Ranger Raptor is just brutal. Power delivery is just instantaneous. There's basically no turbo lag. There's no lag at all. When it comes to handling, it's precise, surprisingly nimble for a truck this size, but the problem is the size. When it comes to noise and vibration and handling, it's no problem. You can barely feel the diesel clatter. Vibration is also set to the minimum. Harshness is at the minimum. But the problem with driving this is the size. It's almost as wide, or practically as wide and as tall as the Ford F-150 Lariat, which is a full-size truck. You're gonna have a hard time trying to determine how to place this vehicle in the road because of how huge and how big this is. Fuel economy on the Ford Ranger Raptor has been good. It's been decent. I mean, you get 7 kilometers per liter in the city if you drive this like a sane person. And on the highway, it goes up to 12 to 13 kilometers per liter on the highway, which again is not bad, considering you're carrying a very heavy truck laden with all the features and all the niceties that you're looking for in an off-roading truck, and at the same time an influencer truck. So one thing about the truck though, one thing about the Ford Ranger Raptor is its safety features. This Ford Ranger Raptor is complete with Ford's suite of both active and passive safety features. You've got blind spot monitoring, Ford collision mitigation system, you've got lane keep assist, you've got adaptive cruise control, you've got a 360-degree camera system, you've got proximity sensors all around, plus you've got the assisted parking feature that I told you about, which automatically parks this huge truck for you. And it's just mind-boggling, to say the least, of how much safety that Ford has placed into this. Pricing for the Ford Ranger Raptor starts at 2,339,000 pesos. Now, through 2,339,000 pesos, that's expensive for a truck, right? Hear me out. The Ford Ranger Raptor, complete with all these features, is one of the most capable off-roading vehicles out of the box from any OEM brand. If you're talking about getting all the safety features, getting all the looks, all the nice accessories on the outside, plus more provisions to add more accessories, the Ford Ranger Raptor is definitely something that you might want to consider. Plus, Ford has a new warranty program for the Ford Ranger Raptor. You got 5 full years of warranties for the Ford Ranger Raptor. It's definitely something that you might, for those people who are worried about the Ford Ranger Raptor being unreliable, you can throw that out the window. Ford is very confident with their warranty program, with the durability of their products, that they're willing to give this a 5-year warranty, and it's something that I appreciate. So you might want to consider other top of the line trucks as well, but again, very few of them can offer the same experience, the same out of the box capability that the Ford Ranger Raptor can afford you. And it's something that I appreciate that Ford has. You're gonna be hard pressed to find anything else, whether it's an SUV, whether it's a truck, whether it's a sports car, that can compete with something like this. The Ford Ranger Raptor, definitely peerless. So that's our review of the Ford Ranger Raptor. It's Ford the Fearless and is peerless. For now, that is. So drop me a comment in the comment section down below and tell me what you think of the Ford Ranger Raptor. And while you're at it, subscribe to our channel and hit that notification icon so you wouldn't miss any of our videos. This is Roy Roberts from Zigwheels.Ph. I will see you guys next time.